Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's Friday afternoon. I want to take just a couple minutes to kind of just show the indicator. Um, and again, it's not a bot. It doesn't tell you every trade, but I think it's very valuable to work as a guide with whatever strategy or trading plan you have. So I just want to go over a few settings on the indicator and a few of the nuances and how it can aid in any strategy that you have. Um, First and foremost, under indicators, if you just type in 5 EMA scalper and then just click on the little star here, and that'll add it to your favorites. I've already got it added to mine here, so it's already on there, but from indicator, it is public, so you can use it. A few things to highlight is as soon as you open it up, you've got the option to display both your buy signals and short signals. But I don't recommend that for the sole purpose. We want to first identify, what direction is the price actually moving. So let's just look at opening range here on the ES. And this is actually, I believe, today's, but on a 5 minute time frame, we're just looking really, what does this first push down look like? Why would we choose sell signals under this condition? Well, after you got the first 5, 10 minutes, it's sideways. So we're really at a pause. We don't know exactly what price is going to do. But when we get this bear candle coming in here and this wick rejecting, we have a reason to consider, hey, price could continue to push down. So we're kind of looking for some short signals or short sells. And if that's the case, we're going to go enable short sell signals. And then that's going to turn those on. Um, we'll kind of go over the variations here, but I'm finding that a stop loss of 5 is just a little too short. And I'll show you some tricks to kind of look at that to kind of assess. You can just mess around with your stop loss and your take profit to see what works best. But sometimes a 10-point take profit with a 10-point stop loss is really well. Uh, if you're going to trade gold or some other or NASDAQ, obviously your stop loss is probably going to be a lot greater than that. But that's what makes it kind of fun to kind of say, hey, what settings kind of optimize the asset that I'm trading. Okay, so we're going to start here. This first take profit actually is associated with, so this sell here actually, here's a take profit back from this sell. It just kind of publishes the price here. This sell is actually take profit. So this would be if you were to enter the trade, during pre-market. So for this demonstration, we'll ignore this take profit because this is associated with this trade entry over here during the pre-market. But from our opening session, we can kind of see if we just kind of highlight or put a box around our first 15 minutes, we can kind of see that, hey, there's our 15-minute opening range identified right here. So 5, 10, 15 minutes. Well, then we have a little pullback rejection here. And so really we're looking at getting in at the bottom of a 15-minute range anyway. However, very good practice is, hey, here's the first breakdown. Hey, is this liquidation? And are we going to come back up through our opening range box, or are we retesting? And so today is just a really good uh, setup because we get the bullish move back up towards our opening range, and then we get a sell signal immediately following this candle. Okay, what triggered the sell signal? Okay, the script is written such as this preceding green candle. So here's the signal candle right here. It does require an opposite colored candle preceding. So therefore it's leveraging a trap. So even though it's not trapping it per se, because it closed, you know, before this green candle, but the rule is if it opens and closes below the 5 EMA for the short sell, and it's below both the 21 and the 5 EMA. So the candle must be below close below both the 21 and the 5. It must start above the 5 and close below the 5, and the preceding candle must be an opposite color. So we're taking the momentum of it opening and closing through the fast moving 5 EMA and also kind of a trap type setup because it is considering, hey, it's only going to give us a sell signal if the preceding candle was green. Okay, so that's how the script is written. It catches a lot of good trades. The only ones I don't like is like if this candle here is a big long 20-point candle, well, we don't want our entry to be clear down here towards the bottom. So that's a nuance. You know, when you do get a sell signal, hey, is it a good from a good pullback? And are we trapping the bulls on the short sell, or is it another liquidation and we'd expect a pretty big pullback? So that's something we really want to watch. This right here is a perfect setup. We're retesting, rejecting from our 15-minute opening range. We retest, we're rejected, we're below VWAP, which is the purple line, below the 21. Then the sell signal is generated because now we have a red candle following a green candle. The red candle opens above the fastest moving 5 EMA and closes below the fast moving 5 EMA. So the price that the sell signal will generate from is the closing price of this candle. Now, as the candle opens above the 5 EMA, every time on whatever fractal you're looking at, whenever it actually is below this 5 EMA, the red signal candle will flash. It'll be coming in and out. It'll stay on as long as the price remains below the fast moving 5 EMA. So that's why we wait until the candle actually closes. Then the sell signal will be printed on your screen and it will remain indefinitely. But waiting until the candle closes allows us to confirm that, hey, in fact, bears did kind of come in, took charge, and did drive this price down. So sell signal is generated based on our current settings we got right now. We got a take profit of 10 points and we got a stop loss of 10 points. So while the trade is live, you'll see some other prices, but it's just telling you what the current the sell price and take profit price is, and those kind of go away once the price is sold. But this sell signal is associated with this take profit signal, and then here's the actual price where you took profit. So we know if we had a take profit at 72.25, we know that we entered in around 62.75. And if we move our cursor up here, I'm sorry, if this was 72, we know that this would have been 82.25. So you look at the close of this candle, it's right at 69.8225, as you can look up here at the close price or look over here to the right where my cursor is. But basically at 82.75 is the close of that candle. 10 took profit at 10 points, so it was triggered here. And this really worked out really nice because then you've got kind of this shooting star candle here, kind of liquidation, and price turns right around and goes right back up. So depending on your rules, at this point here, you're not going to get a signal generated. You should not. We'll kind of confirm that here in a minute, but this candle, there's not a candle that opens and closes, opens below this white line and closes above the white line and is above the both the green and the white line, with the preceding candle being like a bear candle. Let's turn it on and confirm. I don't believe this would have triggered, even though this is a good setup through here, but the rules or the script is written as the price must close above both the white and the green. So we just kind of come up and switch now that we're done with our short. We're really not looking at going short when we see a candle like this. This is exit criteria if you're staying in the trade. Regardless, we're no longer really interested in a short sell trade. So you can just kind of come back to scalper and just change direction because you're only looking for long entries at this point. Okay. And as we stated, there is no signal to get in. However, the strategy still applies. This is where you're going to just manually execute the script. So if this is reversal criteria, I don't like to reverse right away, even though this is definitely exit criteria through here if I'm still short. But when I get this other candle, this follow through, hey, I'd be looking at least a 5 point scalp. Am I above both my green and my white? No. Do I got VWAP up here, my 50? And again, we've been pretty bullish on the much larger time frames. So these are actually excellent scalps. And that's just where you can look at getting in, through a good follow through. And this candle here does follow through and price starts staying above this candle, we want to be able to get in. And so we look at our total risk right there is 9 points at the bottom of this candle. So that's where the 10 point stop is just as applicable. And then we come all the way up here, we easily get 10 more points. So there was a good trade there. I'm kind of following the indicator script or strategy, but doing it manually, just because of the requirement to open below the fifth and close above the 5 EMA. Open below the 5 EMA, close above the 5 EMA with the preceding candle being opposite color. Okay, we're now back above VWAP, and this right here, if you're in a long trade, this is exit criteria regardless, especially when we've been kind of going down. Opening session, couldn't even retest the Globex high. This aqua line here, that's a 200 simple moving average. It just kind of, well, it's very, very attractive to a lot of institutional buyers out there. So it's just a good large time frame moving average, to provide some good SA. It's just another one of those confluences that says, hey, I got some Anthony wicks popping up here. I've trapped this bull candle, rejection below my 200 SEMA. So if I'm long, no longer am I going to be looking at long trades. This happens pretty quick. We wick back up above VWAP, so we're staying above VWAP, but all these wicks up here and rejection below this red 100 EMA makes it tough to even really look at any trades until we get some momentum, some larger candles to potentially come in and say, hey, what are you doing here? And that's where we do get that type of entry here. If you just look at this buy signal, again, above VWAP, it was profitable for 10 points. Here's the actual take profit trigger. However, it's not really a valid trade for me to actually take. So I would just let this print on the chart and kind of wait to see really what's happening, through this area right here. This is really what we're kind of eyeing on. We got a lot of sideways. All our moving averages are moving sideways. Orange is the 50 EMA associated with the 60-minute chart. It's horizontal. So it's tough to trade. Um, but once we do get this take profit from this wick, it becomes really interesting to me. And at that point there, especially when I see this candle come through here, I'm definitely going to turn on my aid or my 5 EMA scalper just to kind of help me assess, hey, what's going on. And I would be interested when I see this strong rejection, strong move down. We're still sideways, kind of watching it come through here. Again, a hard day to trade. Was not a beautiful day. However, from a rules-based strategy perspective, when I start looking at the rejection of my larger time frames, I am getting completely rejected at the 100 and the 50 EMA. That's the reason I would have this indicator on the short sell signal. Okay, so I got it on the short sell signal. I do get a sell signal trigger here. Hey, why not? As long as price stays below my 21 and 5 EMA, and hence we've got a preceding bull candle, a trap with a rejection from larger time frame or slower moving EMAs. So our signal candle, it does print. You get a brief moment where it comes up, you get a lower high here. So this is an excellent trade to come right in here. So this actual trade, the take profit didn't get generated until this candle, but it did trigger at 69.76.5. So basically you're looking at, this is your signal candle. It filled right here, and at 10 points later is where it actually filled. So you can kind of see that it filled right here. This wick right here is where it actually filled. So there was a nice push down. You never were in any drawdown on this particular trade, which again um, makes that pretty attractive. No drawdown, and was able to hit 10 points. So just with a kind of a rules based, I'm only trading on the direction that the price is actually moving at the time. Um, Put some trust in the sell signal indicators, and we're able to. Well, this is we didn't do our sell signals until this part of the session. So we were long over here, but we did have a positive, solid, high probable sell signal generating in the second half of the session after we got this clear rejection at our slow moving EMA. The first start of the session, obviously we got a sell signal, but in the middle, when we had this bullish move, we manually could have gotten into a trade here. However, kind of trusting, we got a buy signal. We're going sideways here. Larger candles, that is indicative that there is buyers stepping in or sellers. So what does our chart say? And here's where we'd really be looking at getting in is bouncing off of our 21 and our 5. We trap these bears. This would have been a trade that I actually would have taken. Possibly would have paused over here a little bit because of the sideways, but once I see this momentum, the bullish follow through, then I would be getting in. The latest I'd be getting in would be right around here, and you can see where we make that up to our 10-point take profit. So still trusting this signal. We're back above VWAP. We're above our 5 EMA, 21 EMA, rules based. It's very objective, able to go long. Kind of a risky trade where we got rejected here. But again, that's the power of recognizing momentum. There's some activity, volume appears to be stepping up here. The candles get a lot larger, and we can get in. And if we can get one more 10 points, excellent. Worst case scenario, we don't quite hit 10 points up here. Let's say this wick didn't quite go up. Well, that's a reversal candle right there. So regardless, we locked in five points on a pretty simple trade like that. Um, so real quick, just to kind of show, if we were to do 5 points, 5-point take profit, 10-point stop loss, do we have any differences? We can kind of turn on both the short and the long to kind of get an idea what we're looking at. Okay, the only ones we'll pay attention here is the sell. So if we were to take this sell for 5 points, we've got it. It's a winner. Here's another sell, even following this one. So you're really trapping all these bulls, and you actually do get an extra trigger in there with an extra take profit. So, you look at it, 2 winners with a risk of 10 points each, but a total of 10 points total with 2 winning trades. So this is where you can kind of use the indicator and just do a lot of analysis on, hey, what is your, maybe the average size of the candles? Are they real volatile today? Is it the NASDAQ? Is it the ES? Is it gold? But you can kind of just turn these on and kind of get an idea. It's like, okay, I really only get one trigger or one sell signal, with a 10-point take profit. And I've got to figure out why that is. Let's see here, because if we're got a sell signal right there, this is still a valid sell signal. So I think I'm showing it will not print. See, if we go back to 5 points. Why do we get the two sell signals in there? And because this take profit, you get a sell signal, it's actually not going to generate another sell signal while this trade is still active. So at 10 points, the signal did not print here, even though per the script, the preceding candle was opposite color. So you got a green candle, then a red color, opened above the 5, closed below the 5. But notice we do not get the sell signal. The reason is because this particular trade is still active. So that's the difference, between you can go through and just kind of mess with these settings and say, hey, do I prefer quicker scalping at 5 minutes? Let's even do 3 points. What do you get with 3 points? Okay, we don't get any additional triggers, but we do hit our targets. Um, so the 5 is pretty good. I like that. You get two complete trades. And what happens if you go with a 5-point stop loss? Okay, that actually works. So there was no exposure, and it again makes sense. So we get triggered here. We never do go back up more than 5 points. We never do. We get filled here. We don't come back up and retest the high of this. So it is a tight stop. Worked very good today. But I do notice, and we'll just flip through a bunch of different screenshots, but you're going to lose a few more trades with a 5-point stop loss. It is a 1 to 2 type reward to risk ratio when you do that, which I have a problem with. However, we got to trust the data. So let's look over here at our short sells and go 5-5 over here. And this was our long, so we didn't go short until after this rejection here. So again, two clean setups. So two specific and unique sell signals, two specific and unique take profits. So again, doesn't matter if you're at a 10-point take profit and just get the one profit, or do you want two separate? So that's going to be personal decision there. It just happens to work out really well here, and I see that over and over. So okay, so that's looking at the ES. Other things you want to look at. Let's keep this on a 10-point take profit, 5-point stop loss. Now, see what happens when you go to like a 3-minute time frame. This is kind of interesting also. So here at the beginning of the session, we'll just turn on our short sell and we'll just kind of see what we get. So if we look at 3-minute time frame, okay, we really don't get any entries. We did get an entry here, but notice how we did get stopped out up here. So this right here ends up being it's a 5-point stop loss. So if we keep it at 10, okay, then we notice we get our first sell signal here, and we actually do get a take profit over here. If we go to a 5-point take profit and a 5-point stop loss, then it just generated the one sell signal, so we didn't really hit the take profit till we got over here. So some days the 3-minute does work really well. On this 3-minute today, with a 5-point take profit, it's very solid. If we look at a 10-point take profit, basically get the same results. But as I just use the indicator, I do like the idea of a 10-point stop loss, and then 10-point take profit seems to work pretty well. But again, it's nice to get in, get out. And if you get another valid signal, then get in for another 5. So that's going to be your preference. Study and do what you like. Another nuance that we like to look at, we get a sell signal here. Okay. When you start looking at, kind of candles are kind of large, things are moving. Um, and this is kind of just one of the nuances. When the candle's kind of large, I'm not looking at necessarily diving into a trade soon as this candle starts. Yeah, immediately you got some follow through, but look how it comes all the way back up. So a lot of times, if there's really the kind of battle between the Bulls and the Bears via indecision, plus our five EMAs clear up here. One of the things I like to wait for if I get a large candle is go ahead and wait. If this prints and this stays on, I'm over in this candle here. Well, I like to sometimes go ahead and see, hey, can I at least come back up and confirm I'm going to get rejection, my fast moving E5 EMA. So it comes back up above this candle. Then when we get this wick and we get good rejection, now we are really comfortable to enter anywhere at this point. Do you want to wait until it comes back down here? You sure can. But this really lower high from up here, here's the rejection. So the nice thing is you can actually dive into this trade via rules, if your rules allow. Once you get this wick coming in, you can actually dive into this trade around the 5 EMA, and then you can kind of see where your 10-point take profit is going to be clear up here versus at the 68. It'll be, you're looking at about 3 points earlier. So that's a way to utilize the strategy as an aid. It just kind of allows you to have another visual confluence that, hey, you are trading in the right direction. It becomes objective when the indicator says, hey, you're opening and closing, crossing over your fast moving 5 EMA, which is indicative of a momentum. It requires a different colored candle preceding, which then kind of indicates, hey, you've got a trap of some sorts going on. And then you will make sure that you kind of enable the long buy or the long signals based on, hey, if your 5 EMA is moving down and away from your 21 EMA, you're going to be in a short sell signal. If and when your white fast moving 5 EMA is above the green, that's when you're going to make sure you're in the buy signal portion of the indicator. And that could be as early as this reversal criteria down here. So 5 EMA, I'm sorry, the 5 minute time frame, 3 minute time frame work really well for this. Again, just works as a great aid. And then it really becomes kind of cool to jump through and look at different take profit, different stop loss amounts, and just say, hey, if I only traded based on the indicator, how would I have done throughout this day? So let's just do a quick summary on today. We'll enable both. We'll do a 5 point take profit, a 5 point stop loss, and we'll only count the trades that are in the direction that we'd want to go. So opening session starts right here. Here's a winner and here's a winner. So we're 2 for 2 with a 5 point take profit, a 10 point stop loss, trading solely based on the strategy written in the indicator. Okay, we don't get buy signals here. However, there's a couple beautiful trades to get in there, but we won't count them for this exercise. Okay, we're still on the long side because we went long over here. So if we trusted this buy signal, but because of these small candles, we got a battle going on around VWAP. We just kind of wait a little bit. We're still on the long side, so this wouldn't be printing at the time. But here's the liquidation to the downside with strong momentum to come back up. So that to me is a clear winner, even if it takes us over here to win. So we're 1, 2, 3 for 3, utilizing the strategy. Now, once this candle kind of comes in here, we just know that, hey, we're short the rest of the time. So just to kind of clear up the screen, I'll remove the long entry. And again, we're 1, 2, 3, we're 4 and 5 for 5 for the day. So again, journal that, write that down. Hey, that's a 5 minute time frame, utilizing the fast moving EMA and its relationship to the slower moving EMA, the 21, but 1, 2, 1 long. So that's 3 for 3. Let me go ahead and turn both of these back on. That's one, two, three trades here, and then four, five. So 5 for 5, objective. Never did really hit a stop loss more than 5 points on the 5 minute time frame. So that's another thing you can kind of just toggle, change your stop loss, your take profits, and kind of validate when you start tracking multiple days. Again, we're one, two, um, let's see what these are. These might be stops right there. I think we got, yeah, with a 5 point stop loss. So that's what it becomes really interesting. With a 5 point stop loss, we're getting stopped out on the longs through here. Where if we have a 10 point stop loss, we do not have any stop losses on the buys. This sell right here did generate this stop loss. So just kind of look through them. Look at the NASDAQ real quick, see how different it is. What do we got here? We'll sell at the beginning. We've got 5 point take profit, 10 point stop loss. Again, 1 for 1. And then as we're coming back down, rejection from the VWAP, you get two other sell indicators, this candle and this candle. Both of them were successful for 5 point scalps. This is again a rejection at the fast moving EMA. So again, you're below VWAP the whole time. So if I was solely looking at NASDAQ, I probably never would look at going long this entire day. Reason, big, strong bear move down. Can I make it back up to VWAP? I can. I get rejected. So I trust my indicators. I got two strong sell signals there. And here's where I get that rejection again below the 100 EMA. Even though this is a long candle, it was a winner, you know. But again, we're talking 10 points on the NASDAQ. So that's more like 2 to 3 points on the ES. But again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll count 6 right there. So you're 6 for 6 up to this point there. This is right at 11:55. So you get a sell signal in here and then you get stopped out right here. So again, that's time of session. You're not going to be getting in a short trade at let's see, that's 12 at 3:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this one here you won't even count. So you can really look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for 6, 10 point scalps, on the NASDAQ. Okay, hope that helps. Just the indicator, you can just kind of hit that 5 point target, 10 point target, 5, 10, maybe larger stop loss. Throw it on different opening session, mid-range, your asset. And if it aids, great. If it adds too much confusion, that's fine too. But it does allow us to focus on, do I want to buy? Am I bearish? Am I bullish? And I can toggle those on or off. Under the style, you can go in and select the colors you want. But here's the moving averages that I have automatically plotted. I went ahead and just added these instead of having 7 different indicators, on my chart. I got the free version of TradingView. I quit paying for that premium because I could add whatever I want to one indicator, but I've got my 5 EMA, my 21 EMA, 100 EMA, and then I've got even my 50 EMA, and this is associated with the 1 hour time frame regardless. All the other moving averages are going to reflect whatever time frame that you are looking at that time. But the orange 50 EMA is always going to reflect the 60-minute chart. So anyway, hope that helps. Hope you all have a great weekend.